Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Swaminarayan, Namaste. We are working our way through chapter 3 of the Krishna Karnamrutham today. O gods of the forest, what is the use of beauty of this forest to you? But please look at that pretty Krishna who plays music on the flute by his pretty lips, and also see that flame of light which sports a lotus-like face, with his age touching youthfulness, and which is indescribable. I would be seeing due to the faultless good deeds of mine that power which is of indescribable light stealing others' minds, that power which conquers the lotus-like eyes of gopis, and that epic-like power which has new sporting actions. I salute all the devas with 8 body parts touching the earth, and only request from them one boon. Let me always have unshakable devotion to that god with moon-like face, who appears sweet due to his smile, and is the blessing got by Nanda. In this rapid water-like flow of the life of a man, at least one instant should be considered as remarkable, and that instant is the time which we enjoy the remarkable history of the black-colored child Krishna. I again and again meditate on the light wanted by the entire world, who has very natural smiling lips, who has a look dripping mercy, and who has a mind bewitching lotus-like face, who has a sweet dripping smile, and who depends on the heart of his devotees and gives pleasure to the eye of gopis. When I am confused due to this life of mine, let the very indescribable lotus-like child Krishna and the dust of Vrindavan, made holy by the walk of gopis, appear before my eyes again and again. When my soul is preparing to travel away, let that child Krishna who is interested in the chest of the Gopalasas slowly and slowly play the flute and appear before me in his form of love. We meditate upon that great light which is beyond words to describe, which is an uncomparable medicine, which is dual as sweetness, and which is sandal paste applied on the chest of gopis. Even in my future births, let all my body parts be interested in that light, which is sweet to the mind, which is the only one that gives beauty to the entire world, which has broad eyes like petals of lotuses, and which is the nectar to the eyes of the lasses of Ruja. I salute that light which has a very pretty form, which is being saluted by groups of saints, which peers at the chest and hips of the Vallava maidens, which has very pretty eyes resembling lotus flowers, which does service to the heart melting prayers and Vedic mantras, and which is blue like the water-rich cloud. The continued experiences, with a very stable heart, of the great wealth of divine happiness of Krishna, who has assumed the form of a human being, would also surely be ours though we sing only his names. When would I be able to see Krishna, who has very broad eyes, who appears like a child to the eyes of the damsels with narrow hips, and who is the blue moon got by the new sea of fame obtained by Yasoda? Let us be protected by the great light which is the source of wealth of playfulness, which pardons the sins of those who prostrate before us, which lives in the heart of blessed people, and which has the exuberance of youth. Let us be made happy by that Lord who defeats nectar about its sweetness, who is very pretty with the smile showing his mercy, who gives satisfaction to the eyes of gopis, who is the place of origin of goddess Lakshmi. Let our mind be full of that bright light which has a smile which is always new, which is the shower nectar in the eyes of the people who see, and which is the proper place for the chest of gopis. Please sing about Krishna's chest which cannot be defeated, which is coated by the paste of musk from the deer, which is made red by the solution of red sandstone in the valley below the high mountain in the forest, and which is coated by the sandal paste on the chest of lasses of Ruja. Let us be saved by the fully sweet child form of Krishna, which is playful like the tender leaves from root to top, which with its magical looks is wedding the entire world, which has taken the form of cowherd willingly, which has a moon-like face, which is tender and pretty, and which killed an asura named Madhu. Please meditate on the lotus-like feet of Lord Vishnu, which wears the gem-studded anklets making sound in Varuja, which is like a pretty lotus blessed by Lakshmi in the pond, which is filled by the musical sound of the royal swans. Let us be protected by the divine God Krishna, who is the support to the supportless, who has eyes like the lotus flower of autumn, who steals our mind by his extremely sweet blue form, and who is surrounded by lasses of Rucha with lotus-like eyes, and is subdued by the arrows of the god of love. Let us be protected by the incarnation of God, which is well lit so that it is fully visible, which has natural perfume, which is divine, which even in its childhood was surrounded by youthfulness, which is not clearly visible and felt, which has been made to look after the cows, and which is pretty even without any ornaments. Let the youthfulness of Krishna, which is the prettiest in the three worlds, which is the ultimate of beauty and looks of love, which is also visible to the Deva maidens in the sky, and which is subject to the passionate glances of Ruja lasses, protect me. Let us be protected by the child form of Krishna, which is the king of Yadavas, which is being drunk, by the mind of sages attracted by him from foot to head, and which is the taste which is enjoyed by gopis. Let all our desires be fulfilled by that great light, which due to their luck appeared before the lovelorn doe-eyed damsels, who were sad because of the absence of Krishna, which is blue like the blue lotus held by goddess Lakshmi, and which has the only ornament of body hairs standing erect. Let there be victory to the young man who wears the feathers of the steed of Subrahmanya as an ornament, who applies to his body the red paste of the sandstone of Meru mountain, and whose hair is drowned by the flowers rained by the Deva maidens. Let there be victory to the lotus-like face of Krishna, which is pretty due to his pure and slow smile, which is shaken by the effort of the god of love, and which has its eyes rolling over the chest of the young lasses of Brindavan. Let there be victory to that great light, which has a slow, shining, pretty smile that is full of love, which is coated with sweat to the love-making with the lasses of Varuja, which has a respected, blessed, and great lotus-like face, which has lips drenched with a slow smile that is youthful and red like the rising moon, and which is the victory march of the doe-eyed damsels. Let there be victory to the extreme joyous reactions of the joy of Krishna, which was ornamented by the glances of Radha on his broad chest during love-making, and which was tightly embraced by the end of the love-making by Rukmani, when she suddenly woke up from sleep, leading to the limitless and pretty sense of joy. Let there be victory to the thoughts in my mind about the dripping nectar of smile of his lower lips, ornamented by the feathers of a very fat peacock, and having lotus-like eyes, as he is living with the lasses of Ruja, having a lotus-like face, which is attractive to the mind, having the essence of the music from the divine flute, and he is the one which my mind longs very much to meditate upon. And we will pause there. I want to make a comment about the lovemaking, because this comes up all the time. People always talk about, oh, there's like lovemaking and sex, and this is so raunchy. And then others are like, well, actually, Krishna's a boy when it comes to the gopis. He's literally a boy. If you believe that boys don't know about lovemaking and physically can't do lovemaking, then this isn't lovemaking in the bang, bang, bang sort of way. It's a different type of lovemaking. It is a lovemaking of passion that I would like to believe is beyond physical pleasure. It is a communion of two spirits into one. What is this idea of the Shakti and the feminine and the masculine and the coming together and the unity, and where lovemaking is more than just a physical thing, but it's this union of two souls, and you actually don't need intercourse to have that. That's kind of how I see this. The word is failing me. I probably will think of it as soon as I shut the recording off. But that's kind of how I see this. But yeah, your mind does kind of want to go like, wow, he's got all these girls and he's got a couple lovers, and I know it's questionable, and I really don't have an affirmative answer to it. And there's many, many, many who are well more informed than I am, who have spoken way more on this. There's probably a book in the making on just this debate itself. But yeah, I'll leave it there before I get into trouble, and just thank you for watching this as always. And Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.